Welcome back to Brunch and Banter. On this episode, we're going to be talking about adulting, what we thought versus reality. Because being an adult is mostly just Googling how to do stuff and hope nobody finds out that's what you did. At least that's what I do.
Not you exposing yourself.
And that's
But honestly,
actually,
that's what I do too.
for real. That's actually a quote by Simon Coland.
No, I
Yeah.
don't know who that is, but I know who Simon Cowell is.
I know who that is too. First, I want to say hello. How's everybody doing out there? Girls, guys, I don't know who's listening, but if you're listening, on a scale of I'm thriving to I cried in the Target parking lot, how is everybody doing today?
Yes, please tell us.
You too, Nana. Tell me how you're doing today.
Oh, I'm
Have you
great.
cried in the Target parking lot this week?
I have not cried. And TMI, but did get my period this week and I didn't cry.
Ooh.
So there's that.
But are you thriving?
Yeah, I feel like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like my skin is doing pretty good. So,
Not me. I got a pimple right here.
well, I have like an old one like right here, but it's going away very slowly.
This is also about adulting because obviously you never stop breaking out.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're really lucky.
I feel like it gets better though. Like, I don't think it gets worse.
When I was a kid, I used to get one like right here, and people used to think that I would pierce. And I had my I don't know what you call this, under my lip pierced.
Oh, I don't know what that's called either.
Yeah, people thought I had it pierced. I was like, nah, I just break out there.
As they say, if you break out like in your like cheek and chin area, it's hormonal.
Which is weird because I already ended my period last month.
I love how we're talking about periods.
Okay, so what did we think adulting was going to be about?
You see, I feel like most people, I'll speak for myself, but I feel like most people think like when you become an adult, there's like so much freedom and you can do whatever you want and no one can tell you what to do and you're so happy and making great money, because you have like an awesome job, apparently.
Yeah, literally, that's what I probably thought it was too. You get a
Definitely.
car, you can drive wherever you want. Nobody told me I had to pay for gas. Nobody told me I had to pay car
For
insurance. Yeah, nobody told me I had to pay for the car. Thought it was just like, oh, I want that one.
I know, right?
And no one said nothing about no credit score for the car.
Oh my
Right?
gosh,
Yes.
seriously.
But I feel like where that school kind of fails because they don't really teach like life skills and like how to write a check.
Yes.
So I feel like they kind of like set us up for like failure as far as like being an adult because I could have sworn like a 24-year-old was like grown, full on
Yeah.
adulting. And then I turned 24 and I
Mhm.
still didn't have my shit together. So I was like, oh no,
This is not it.
Literally.
I'm still a kid.
I feel like maybe now I feel more adulty, but
Yeah.
back then in like my mid to early 20s, heck no.
I feel like adulting is more life experience.
Yes. It
Mhm.
honestly is. I feel like school, though, should teach you how to do taxes. What is a credit score? How do you build a credit score? What are the best ways to avoid having bad credit, Like stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. Like those are really good things that you should learn in life, especially since you kind of need a credit score for everything nowadays.
And even though like at 18 you're considered an adult,
Yeah.
it's a very different 18-year-old adult than like a 40-year-old adult.
Oh yeah.
I'd say that's why I don't like that, like, schools will make you choose a major at 18. Like, that's what you're gonna do with the rest of your life, you know? Like, I don't know what I wanna do with the rest of my life, Especially not at 18.
Yeah, you literally are. You're a child still at that point.
But I feel like adulthood is a lot of trial and error too, because you might think you like something and then you go and try to do it and you realize you really don't. So I believe adulthood is a lot of trial and error and learning along the way.
Uh-huh.
Adulthood is a lie.
Why is it a lie?
Because it's not really adulthood, it's strugglehood.
It's strugglehood.
Strugglehood.
At what point is it struggle? Is it no longer strugglehood, or is it always strugglehood?
I feel like there's always something that you're always learning, like, because you have to think about it too. It's like, everyone is experiencing the age they are for the first time. Like, your parents are experiencing being grandparents for the first time. They're experiencing being like, 50 for the first time. And some of like, I'm not saying like I am or you are, but some people expect their parents to have everything together. But it's like, no, your parents are still experiencing everything for the first time at the age that they are. Like, yeah, sure, they're not experiencing cooking for the first time, but, they could be experiencing, like, what is it called? Like, menopause, women experience that for the first time, and that's struggle some for some, like hot flashes and, uh, I don't know what else menopause gives besides hot flashes, but I know those are a struggle.
Mhm.
Probably hormonal changes too, think about it.
Yeah, 'cause, men will as they age, they stop producing as much testosterone, and they'll produce more estrogen, and then for women, it's the opposite. They'll start producing more testosterone, so they could be getting facial hair where they don't want facial hair that they didn't used to have there before.
Yeah, like, I definitely thought, like, adulthood meant, like well, I think we take our examples from our parents, like, "Oh, my mother met
Mm,
my father at 13. I'm gonna meet my future husband at 13 too. I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna have a child by 21. I'm gonna have another 2 children, like, about 8 years later too," Like,
yeah,
Isn't that crazy that they did all that at such a young age?
but then they told
yeah.
me no dating until after high school.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I literally what I thought was, "Well, how am I gonna meet my future man if I can't date?" Like, what's gonna happen?
Right? From a catalog.
I don't I don't remember them ever saying that to me.
Did you guys get influenced by, like, famous people or just, like, our parents?
I think mostly our parents. I wouldn't say so much famous people because I didn't really care about, like, actors that much besides, like,
Mhm.
if I'm thinking about, like, High School Musical and I'm like, "Oh, everyone was obsessed with, like, Vanessa Hudgens and Zac Efron," or, like, and, they weren't, like, dating like, or serious. I mean, I'm sure they were, but obviously it
Well,
didn't
a lot
work
of
out.
Hollywood, they set them up with their potential partners and stuff.
Yeah, like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think,
from just working?
Mhm.
they had to find that chemistry.
Yeah.
But I don't think, celebrities had a big impact on what I thought relationships would look like. I feel like that was solely based off of our parents, like you said, because our mom got married when she was 20, and I was like, "Oh, wow, I hope I get married that young and I could have all my kids by the time I'm 27." But, because
And
like
here we are,
yeah,
At
unmarried.
30, still not knowing how to make rice.
I know how to make rice.
I'm just kidding.
Well, speak for yourself.
Right?
I
No,
made
I can
some
make rice.
yesterday.
You know what though? I felt like I was telling my mom, I felt like when I was growing up, I wanted to watch like my grandma make food and I wanted to help her. And the first thing my grandma says, "Quítate de aquí, estás estorbando."
But at the same
Mm,
time, I mean,
mhm.
at that phase, she was taking care of so many kids. Like, I think she was just trying to get lunch on the table.
Well, yeah, but like
Yeah.
as a being a child, like trying to learn, it made me feel like, well, I guess you don't want me here. Like, why am I even here? Like
Oh,
not like in
yeah.
that
Mm,
sense, but
yeah.
it just made you feel like you were in the way more
Yeah,
than
I could
anything.
see how that could, like, give you a sense of rejection for sure. Because I would feel that way too. Because I never asked our grandma if I, like, could be there in the kitchen. I asked mom, like, I would ask her, "Oh, how do you make this?" And then she would tell me, and I would just, like, stand there and watch her. And I feel like that's how I learned how to cook. It was just all by watching and, tasting.
Oh, see, I didn't do that.
But you see, I feel like a lot of times, like, they don't do measurements. You really can't get a
Mhm.
recipe from them. Like, they're just like, "Oh, keep going." Or I'm
Yeah,
like,
she's
"What do
like
you mean?" Or
like,
like, "Oh,
Échale más, échale poquito
yeah,"
más.
or just like a
yeah.
little pinch. I'm like, "Okay," but like, "Oh, no, it needs more." I'm like, "Okay, well, how do you know?" It's like
Yeah.
all
That's like
those
any Mexican dish, though. Sadly.
yeah, so I'm like, "Okay,
Mhm.
well, now I'm really lost."
I think the only thing I really learned how to make from my grandma was like the lasagna, and that's because I literally watched her make lasagna many times.
Oh my
The
gosh, I
lasagna's
haven't had that
bomb.
in forever.
I made it last week because Daniel was out of town and he's not a pasta guy like that. So I made it, and of course, when you make it, you can't just make a small little.
No, you make a whole
Yeah.
container.
Right, but I did make it. I did it not the full like glass pan that she would do. I think it was like half of that size, but then I was
Yeah.
eating it for like 3 days. So I was like, okay, I'm over it. I had my fix. I'm done.
I know, I
Yeah.
made it for, Francisco once, and he was like, "Oh, this is so good." I'm like, "I
Mhm.
guess." I'm like, "Something my grandma would always do for us."
And it's not really a traditional recipe, like,
Mm-mm.
not your
Mm-mm.
traditional lasagna at all.
I know people are like, "What's a Mexican lasagna?" I've never heard of that. I call it the Mexican lasagna, but
Well,
Mhm.
yeah.
it's like
I
a
don't
bunch
think
of,
I've
like,
ever
veggies with meat
yeah, I don't
and
think I've
cheese.
ever met anyone else who makes it the same
Uh-uh.
way.
Yeah, me
I think they
either.
all just do, like, traditional, like, American lasagna. I won't even say Italian because I know it's not Italian.
Yeah, no, because she puts corn in there.
Yeah.
And, like, peas and, like, stuff. And sometimes I put, like I made a cheese one, and I put, like, spinach and ricotta cheese and stuff.
That was
That's
bomb.
It's
good.
bomb.
I made a pizza lasagna once. It doesn't taste anything like pizza, but it's really good.
So this is,
Mm.
like, adulting, guys. It's pretty much just, like, learning to make things
It's figuring out as
from
you
what you already
go
have.
and using other adults as a reference.
Literally,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, like, who else thought that by this age you would have a walk-in closet and a maid?
Maybe not a maid because I feel like I don't like people in my space like that, but definitely a walk-in closet.
I mean, you kinda do
Mhm.
have one, though.
We have a walk-in closet.
Yeah, but it's small,
Yeah, ours is small.
and it's not
I have a little
ideal.
closet.
You do have a little closet, it's very sad.
It's very sad.
It is.
You just make it work though.
Yeah, it works for her.
Only for me, though.
Not for
I
you, Nana?
mean, when I'm there, I have a smaller one than you.
Well, I cut mine to the half the size of my regular closet. So, what are the expectations that we had, like careers, and then the reality?
I don't think I really had, like, a huge expectation for careers. I know that, like, growing up, I always wanted to be a vet, and I thought I was like, "Oh, yeah, it'll be so easy to be a vet," but then, like, once you actually learn all the stuff that a vet does, I didn't have the heart to be a vet, and
Mhm.
so then I
Be
was
like, "I'm
Mm,
just gonna
like
help animals and get them get better," but
yeah,
then
that's
there's
what
the
I
downside.
thought. And I
You
was
gotta
like, "No, because then you have to, like"
euthanize.
yeah, you put them down and, you have to deal with, like, aggressive ones, and you have to, like, deal with, surgery well, I don't know if I would've
And
done surgery.
people.
Yeah, and, like, not
yeah.
everyone is nice, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, maybe this is not the, life for me."
Right. People aren't nice.
No.
What about you, Chen? What did you thought you were gonna be doing right now?
I don't know. I always felt like I wanted to work in an office or in like the medical field, but I went like the office
Mm,
route.
Mhm.
Um, I think I thought it was gonna be more like corporate America, but obviously I got that from seeing all the shows
Mhm.
and movies we
mm,
would watch. It was more like very corporate America. But thankfully, in the small town that we live in, it's not like that. It's a lot of more family owned businesses,
Yeah.
which is nice because you're still able to like live your life and your day to day stuff. And especially now that we have growing families, it's nice to not sign your life away to a company that you're just an employee for.
yeah.
I thought careers were more like office, corporate America, like what you see in in the movies, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that because uh I I did think that eventually too that, oh, everyone just gets an office job or,
Mhm.
like, they work, like,
A
some
cubicle and you
crazy
sit there and you die.
yeah, but, like, in my head, I was like, "But I don't wanna work in an office, like, that's weird."
I thought I was just gonna be reading books and knitting for the rest of my life. I
Oh,
didn't think I was gonna need to make money. I mean, I know we need to make money, but, like, you know what I mean? Like,
You're like, "It'll come."
yeah, I'll just
right?
read. I'll just be fine getting in this book industry, you know?
Yeah.
You're like, you'll just get a check in the mail, which actually we did. We just got a check in the mail, but it was like a refund. So it wasn't really
Oh.
like they gave
Mm.
us money. They were just reimbursing us for something.
Talking about money, back in the day, we all thought, what, 50K was a lot? 80.
Oh my gosh,
Not
Oh
even,
yeah.
well, 80 is
god.
still pretty good amount, but, like, 20K, 50K, $100 bill was a lot of money,
Yeah.
and now we're just like, "Oh, 100." Well, that's gonna go away right now. Those are groceries right there.
No, yeah,
But
that
it also depends on your lifestyle too. I mean, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So for the grocery parts, like I remember when I first started buying groceries, you can get a whole ass cart full with $100. And now I
uh-huh.
go for like one dinner and it's $75. And I'm like,
Yep.
where the heck
Mhm.
did it go? I mean, granted, yes, sometimes I am buying like good quality meat or good quality steak. So I know there is like $30.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, if I am buying good quality meat and I'm going to a store that I don't normally go to, I'll probably buy like one or two just to have as
Mhm.
backstock for like a future meal. But you walk out and it's like, wait, I realistically only got enough food for like tonight's dinner and maybe leftovers tomorrow. Like,
Mhm.
what the heck happened? And I know everyone would say, like, oh, yeah, a year ago, or not even a year ago, maybe like a couple years ago, you were able to get a whole ass cart and it would only be like $100. And I remember going with grocery shopping with my mom, and she would fill that baby up and it would be like
Huh?
125 and we would have food for like
The
2
month.
weeks. Yeah, or like maybe more because we would also go to Costco. But
Yeah.
now we go to Costco too. I mean, granted, we don't go to Costco all the time. We go like once a month. But maybe that's our fault too because we wait so long to go that when we go, it's
But
like
our parent my mom would always go, like, once a month too, Hannah.
Yeah, she didn't go
my
that
parents would
often.
go every week, like, it was a
Mm-mm.
weekly thing, like, we would I mean, we didn't need to restock every week, but we would always go to, like, lunch or an early dinner or breakfast or whatever, and then we would go walk it off at Costco.
We would
Mm.
usually go on Sundays every now and then, and we would get, like,
Mhm.
a Costco pizza to take home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we would always get a movie. That's when, like, the VHS or, and then it was DVDs or yeah, DVDs were in, and we would always get, yeah, like a pizza, or my mom would get, like a rotisserie chicken and a Caesar salad, the family style
Mhm.
ones,
Oh, yeah.
and we would pick a movie, um, and we would do that, but they would go, like, every week, but and now that me as an adult that I go maybe a month once a month or every 6 weeks, I have to restock on, like, dog food and, like, 5 cases of
Mm.
water and detergent, and we walk out
Yeah.
of there, like, a couple $100 later, maybe 3, 4, and
Mhm.
I'm like, "What the heck should I just buy?"
I mean, let
Yeah.
alone the meat is so expensive.
Yeah, and it's not like I was splurging on anything in, like, their home section or,
Yeah.
like, I didn't buy anything, like, special. It was just, like, detergent, um, soap for dishes, it was dog
Uh-huh.
food. I
Mhm.
mean, yes, you do buy in big bulk, but even then, I'm like, "What the heck?" Like, it would have been nice if I would have bought in, like, something cool, that and I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, that's where my money went." But no, it was just
Yeah.
groceries, and I was like, "Alright, well, this is adulthood, okay." And you
Yep.
can't be like, "No, I mean, I know your mom makes her own detergent, but it's like you have to buy, like, necessities, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can obviously go cheaper routes and, like, make your own detergent, but
Some of us don't have the time for that.
yeah, I don't have the time for that, so I just buy it.
Yeah.
But, of course, you want your clothes smelling good, so you get, like, the fabric softener and the dryer sheets and
Mhm.
then the little scent beads and, you get all
Mhm.
crazy with it, and before you know it, that whole, like, laundry section right there is $100 and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. It adds up.
So definitely money expectations were definitely different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's funny because as little kids, you give them, like, 20 bucks and they think it's, like, a whole lot of money,
Yeah.
and I'm
Not
like, "I can barely
anymore.
get a meal at
Not
Chick-fil-A with
anymore,
20
now they want,
bucks."
like, 50.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Inflation,
Like,
inflation.
even with $10 was enough for, like, a meal at McDonald's.
Yeah, literally. No, it's, like, maybe enough?
Or remember when we only needed $1 for the ice cream man and now you need like 5?
Yeah, they're so expensive.
I remember that. I remember you really only needed like $1 because the ice cream was $1 and then they went to like
Mhm.
$1.25 and
Uh-huh.
$1.50 and I don't even know what they are now.
The day I remember that really hit was, you remember those little, like they were, like, little balls, but they were, like, clear balls, but they were coated with something on top.
I'm only thinking of the Mexican candy that has, like, the chile on the outside. and then you eat off all the chile, and the inside it's a clear, like, gumdrop type of
It
thing.
might be that. But anyway, they were like 5 cents each when we would get them as kids.
Oh,
So we would
yes.
get a
Oh,
ton of
yeah.
them. And
Yeah.
then
Like a dollar's worth, huh?
Uh-huh.
I think I bought some later on in life, maybe like back like 10 years ago or something. And they were 25 cents each.
Uh-huh, you get 4 for a dollar now.
And I was like, "Excuse me?" Those
How
are
I know,
depressing,
pricey.
like,
huh?
some of their ice creams, I think the last time, we ever stopped the ice cream man at the house, it I swear, there's, like, an ice cream that costs $2.25, and I think it was, like, the strawberry shortcake one because that was one of my favorite
Oh,
ones.
dude, I used to get 2 of those, like, chocolate fudge thingies for a
Yeah,
dollar
they
back in the
used to
day.
be 50 cents,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember we'd get, like, the 2 fudge ones because it was 50 cents, and then you could get, like, a bag of hot Cheetos,
Mhm.
and the whole thing would cost you, like, $1.50.
Yeah. Now that's, like, good $5, $6 right there.
Uh-huh, and I'm just yeah, like,
Mhm.
that's not worth it.
Life's not worth it anymore.
I know, just go to the freaking store and buy a big old, like, box of ice cream, different flavors, you
For
spend, like,
real.
$15, but still you get, like, 15 of them.
I know. And on top of that, so you're working, you're doing groceries, you're doing the up rates on ice cream, and then you have
Yeah.
your regular other financial struggles where you have your student loans, you have your car payments, like, it's all just, like, it adds
Mhm.
up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
'Cause, student loans don't magically disappear.
Yeah, I remember when I got my first job, mom was like, "Okay, now we can get you a car." And I was like, "I don't want a car. I don't wanna drive." And then she's like, "But you have to." And I was like, "But I don't want to." And then I had to learn, and then when I got my car, they're like, "Okay, now you get a car payment." And I was like, "Well, I never wanted this car to begin with, but okay."
Oh, because you got your car off the lot, huh? Your first car?
Yeah.
I didn't. My parents bought me my first car in 2009, and it was a 10-year-old car.
Yeah.
The Nissan that I got,
Oh,
Yes.
that's
I think it was like
right.
6 grand.
You got gotten in a
I know, and then
They said, "First child, free car. Second child, pay your own car."
I know, and then I discovered that if you, like, pay more than the minimum, that you can go, like, longer without paying, and I was like,
Oh,
"That's
yeah.
great. I'll pay, like, 4 months in advance, don't have to worry about it for a while." And then, before I left, I had, I think, like, maybe 2 grand left to pay, and I was like, "Alright, I'm done paying this car." And so I paid it off.
For real. That's a hack right there. Make sure you pay your car off earlier than its intended purposes. Then you can get more bang for your buck
Yeah, less interest.
if you wanna sell it.
Mhm.
But not too fast because then the credit company's gonna be like, I don't know if you know how to pay monthly."
Yeah, you do have to get at least a good, like, rep on you.
Mhm.
'Cause I think I was probably making payments for, like, a year before I paid it off fully. Maybe 2, I don't know.
And then my bank likes to, the way it, like, pays it, so it pays it I think it's supposed to be 360 a month, but I pay 400. And when it catches up to, like, the balance where, like, everything I've paid extra catches up to the payment amount,
Mm.
it'll just not pay that month
Oh.
because it's on time. And I was like, "No, I still want you to keep paying it. Like, give me the money."
It said, "Take a
Mhm.
break."
So when were you guys convinced you'd meet the one?
I honestly thought it would have been in high school. Like, I thought I was gonna have a high school sweetheart, and I would marry my high school sweetheart, but obviously that's not what happened. Mm. Uh,
What about you, Chel? When did you think you were gonna meet the one?
I really don't know if I ever had, like, a time frame for that. I always thought it would be young, like my parents, because they got married at such a young age.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like, I was so focused in school because I wanted to go to college. So I wasn't really, like, focused on that. I was just
mm,
trying to pass my classes.
Oh, she was
yeah,
an educated lady over here.
yeah, she's an
Me and Nana
Um,
educated
were in La La
girly.
Land dreaming about men.
Aw. But I really don't like, I don't think it was in, like, in high school because I felt like I was too young, and I was
Mm,
just trying to, like, because I was in all those college-bound classes and programs, made sure they, like, emphasized the
mm,
importance of getting your shit together now because it all happens pretty quick, so you need to figure out what you wanna do now. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
really, that wasn't really something I was focused on, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that does make sense.
But I don't think it was gonna happen in college either because you don't really hang out in college like you do in high school, everyone's
Yeah.
so different. So I think I just thought it was gonna happen through,
Mhm.
like, mutual friends or, like, work
Mhm.
or, like, my parents at the fair.
That's pretty
For
cute,
real.
though.
Is that why we would always go to the fair? No, I'm just kidding.
No. No, we would go for, like, the expensive ass food.
Yeah, that's true though, because like then I remember watching a lot of like uh I don't know, I don't know if they were all Disney Channel movies, but like there is one where Miley Cyrus was in it and she met this like guy while she's like at the beach house like with her dad. I think they're like visiting or something. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
I kind of do remember like, oh, what if you like meet a boy on vacation? Like I thought that would be cool, but then I was like, realistically, like that's not gonna happen. Like I'm not gonna go off and
You're always with your family, so
You're like, "I don't even have money to go on vacation."
that's true. And
At
like
Disneyland.
I was like never boy crazy either. I was just like I never really tried to pursue anyone, and a lot of it just has to do like with what do you call it insecurities type of stuff.
Mhm.
But, like, I never was, like, boy crazy where, like, "Oh my gosh, I wanna find a boyfriend right now." I was just like, "Eh, if it happens, it happens, or eventually it'll happen at some point."
I don't think I was boy crazy. I think I was just, like, wondering when I would meet, like, the person who's gonna, like, marry me, who's gonna
Yeah.
have kids with me, you know? Not exactly like,
Mhm.
I want a boyfriend right now, you know? It was just like I
Yeah.
wanted that bigger picture,
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
which now I'm just kinda like, "Eh, I don't really care if I get married now."
You're like, "I'm living my best life."
Yeah, the fact that I found somebody who I enjoy my time with, but doesn't mean that we need to get married, you know? Like, you don't have to get married, like,
Yeah.
that's good enough in a way.
It's
Mhm.
a, like, domestic partnership, I
Yeah.
think. It's like, after I know in Texas, I think if you've been together for, like, a year or 2 years, you're considered, like, married, you're a domestic partner, but,
Mm.
uh, I think
So you
somewhere
and
else
Kyle
it's,
are
like,
technically married.
10 years. Uh-huh, technically.
So what do we think our lifestyle and our independence is gonna be about? Like, scented candles and charcuterie nights? Or the reality, Febreze and frozen dinners?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I love the charcuterie board.
Mhm. I just did that on Thursday. It was great.
Oh, I saw that.
You know what, though? I think that's a reality and an expectation at the same time.
You have to allow time for that, though. You have to make time to, like, relax and put your hair up or, I guess, down and just chill in the
Yeah,
craziness of everything. Because it really does help, like, just
relaxing with some scented
because
candles.
'cause you're always gonna have things to
Oh, yeah.
do. You're always gonna have things to
Mhm.
do. But even, like, I love candles because I do the whole
Mhm.
candle day, and I
Yeah.
load up like crazy. But even having, like, a good scented candle just makes everything better, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
does. I mean, that's something, like, my mom would always do, huh? She'd always have candles burning in the house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, like, I personally love candles burning.
And it makes it feel homey too.
Yeah, it does. And then, like,
Yeah.
charcuterie board, it doesn't have to be cheese and salami. I like cheese and salami, but you can do it out of anything.
Mhm.
Yeah. I've seen people do it, like, out of takeout, like, they'll do, like, a Chick-fil-A board or, like,
Oh, the
a
fast food ones?
Mhm.
yeah. You can make your cheap meal it's not really that cheap anymore, but you can make your cheap meal look really fancy.
For real, just get a cute little board.
Girl dinner.
Literally.
They really are girl dinners, not gonna lie.
In reality, though, like, your passions don't always pay big. Even though they do say, like, if you do it right, when you work, you don't really feel like you're working, you know?
Yeah, that is true. They say that you should get a job where or be in the career where you want to be there every day and you're having fun so it feels like you're not working and you're just doing something that you love.
Which is kinda hard, though, because, even though, say, like, I don't know, reading or something, like, who's gonna pay me to read? other than giving book reviews, but,
I
like,
guess it'd kinda be like a book critic.
maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't even know how much they would pay.
That almost reminds me of the Netflix taggers, where they pay people to watch their shows,
Where do I sign up for that?
and it's really hard to get in, from what I
Exactly.
hear, but I think it's because you categorize, like, what the show like, the genre is.
Mm. That's hard though, because sometimes, like, something could look like a thriller, but it's really suspense or,
Yeah, and people obviously will experience, like, different emotions during watching a show
That's true.
because, like, something may scare you, but not me. I think it's the opposite. Something may scare me, but not you. Yeah.
I think it is opposite because I like scary movies.
You do.
Yeah, because you guys traumatized me with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, you allowed yourself to be
You
traumatized.
you guys were mean.
We were
Uh,
mean.
you guys were mean. Like art, that makes me think about, like, artists because,
Yeah.
like, have you seen that thing where they duct taped a banana to a canvas and it sold for, like, millions? Like, a literal banana.
Really?
Yeah, if not millions, maybe thousands, but it literally sold, and, they're like, "Art is all about" was it how you perceive it or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
And, like, you have to understand and I don't know what, and I'm like, "You're telling me that this banana duct taped to a canvas is gonna tell you so much over, like, someone who spent, like, hours and hours on this, like, I don't know, masterpiece of art that could cost way less."
It's because Nana, the banana is trapped in the peel, but then it's trapped with the duct tape, so there's no way of freeing it. So it's like a freedom thing. I just pulled that out of my ass.
I was like, "What?"
It's showing you the way American citizens' life is. We're trapped because we think we're free, but not really free.
Nah, she really gave us a metaphor for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, that is a passion that people sometimes go and like they say art and music sometimes don't always pay because to make it big on the music field, you have to be a big person, somebody who's making millions of dollars. Sadly.
Yeah.
You have to make it in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it honestly, like, especially in music, it just takes, like, that one song to go viral,
Uh,
and then you're pretty much there, and, you'll have an audience who, like, discovers you, and they're like, "Oh, they love your music so much," and then all of a sudden you have, like, a big following, but it doesn't
yeah.
happen to every person.
But then you also run into the what's it called? Like where you could also see this like passion as now it's a job and now you have to do it and now you don't want to do it because it used to be just something that you enjoyed doing.
Mhm.
That's
And now you
true.
have like, your producers who want more music and need more
Mhm.
music. Same thing with writing.
That's why they get writer's block.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And then to get out of writer's block, they'll take, like, this, like, vacation, and then all of a sudden they have all these new ideas. So, you know, everyone just needs a break.
Yeah, exactly. Just like we said before, burnout is real.
Mhm. Very real.
Mhm.
In reality though, I also Google everything.
You do.
Oh, yeah.
I do. I'm like the Google
I
person.
remember when, this was, like, maybe I think we might have been in high school, not you, maybe me, I don't know, but we used to say, "Oh, don't worry, Addis will Google it."
Because I do, I Google everything. It
Yeah.
paid off though, I Google everything in Excel and I find out new formulas.
Yeah.
So let's share some stories, even though we've already shared some stories, but let's share more stories. Um, what are some awkward work emails you guys have sent? Or just awkward emails in general?
I never sent any emails.
You don't send emails?
Well, I don't send any awkward emails, I feel like, but I was part of an awkward Teams message where one of my coworkers pretty much said that she just needed to take a nap, so she was gonna close her door. Well, she sent it to the wrong group chat where the bosses were in, so then she had to, like, pretty much play off that she had, like, a migraine. But
Oh
really, I
my
think she was, like,
goodness.
hung over from the night before.
At least she didn't say that.
I know, but it was like and she, like, told her, she's like, "I just need to take a nap, I'm gonna close my door." And then it just went to the wrong group chat. So that
Oh
was
my
awkward.
gosh.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
I've done that before. I sent we have a payroll club meeting. I mean, oh sorry, a payroll club messaging thing, and then I have my manager's messages right above that. And I saw her name, so I just thought I was in her messages. And I said, "Oh, so and so is already turned in payroll. Everything looks good. I'm hoping Jessica turns in payroll today. I'm assuming she will." And I look back and it says payroll club. And I was like, haha, I sent it to the wrong group.
Mm.
I was like, awkward. But I
At
mean,
least
like,
you didn't say anything, like, really bad.
that's what I said too. I was like, at least it wasn't like bad.
Yeah, I don't think I have any, like, instances like that because I don't I've never worked an office job.
Or you never sent the wrong text message to somebody?
In high school, I like well, you know when you take a screenshot and then you send a screenshot to the person you took the screenshot of? Yeah, I did
Oh.
that. Uh.
That's funny.
I've done that where I'm, like, supposed to respond to somebody else, and I accidentally sent it to Daniel because I have him pinned at the top,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he's like, "That what? Like, what are you trying to say?" And I'm like, "No, it meant to go to somebody else," but then he wants, like, the full story. He wants to be included in what I'm talking about. So he wants to know, like, exactly what was
Oh
going
my
on so he can make
gosh.
sense of
Oh my
whatever
gosh.
screenshot or whatever I send.
That reminds me of, like, the time where, cause I have Kyle as babe, and one time I would think I was, like, messaging him to tell him that I love him, and I accidentally messaged B, and I was, like, saying, "I love" he never replied to me, but I was like, "Holy crap, sorry, that wasn't for you, but I do love you."
But he probably thought you
So,
were, like,
mm,
fucking around with him.
yeah.
Probably. B never replies to anything though.
He sends me, like, dumb videos, like, super dumb
Oh my
videos
gosh.
of, like, things I should do to my daughter or, like, just dumb things.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Oh, that's
like the one
funny.
where like they were throwing a piece of cheese at the baby.
Oh, I've
Yeah,
seen
I
that
know he sent
one.
me that one. He's like, "Oh, you
Like
should do that." And I'm like, "I most definitely will not be doing that, but thank you."
That's funny.
Have you guys ever forgotten to cancel like a free trial or something? And you've been getting charged and you just never noticed it until like
Oh my gosh, yes.
me too.
Well, it wasn't like a full free trial. It's this company called Jobby. They
Uh-huh.
make a concentrated, coffee, like espresso.
Yeah.
And they have, like, different flavors, and you get I think it was, like, a deal where you get, like, 4 bottles for, like, just the shipping or something like that. And I was
Oh.
like, "Oh, that's a great deal," because I think, like, regular price for 4 bottles was, like, 40 maybe, like, 40 bucks or something like that. And I got it, and then I thought I canceled it, like, a week later, but I no, I thought I was gonna cancel it, but it was like a every 2 weeks type of thing, and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 why'd you guys charge me?" And so I had to, like, go and cancel it, and, I mean, obviously paid for the second one um, that batch that I paid for, I got it, and then
Uh-huh.
I canceled it after that, and I actually am still finishing one last bottle of that.
Oh my god.
It's really good, though. It is.
Oh my gosh.
I try to cancel things as soon as I, like, subscribe because then they'll usually, for the most part, they let you continue your free trial.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
I don't think I've like forgotten to. I usually will cancel it right away too. But I know I signed up for Ipsy.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
And to cancel that, it's like a nightmare. You have to, like, really look for the cancellation thing online because it doesn't let you.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes you have to go on a desktop. You can't do it through your phone.
Yeah. Or you have to, like, email the company or something. I don't
That
know.
reminds me, there was this chocolate brand that this was, like I think I got this, like, a long time ago, like, maybe, like, 10 years ago, but there was this brand called, like, Skinny Chocolate or something like that, where they just, like, made, lower calorie chocolate, and I had bought, like, a few because I wanted to try it, but the only way you can buy it is through subscription, and I was like, "Oh, cool, I'll just cancel it." And I had gotten that one order, and I didn't like the chocolate, like, I think there was, like, one that I liked, but I didn't really care for it. And when I went to go try to cancel it, they never had any option to cancel it except to
Mhm.
call, and I refused to call them, I didn't wanna talk to them. And so every, like, couple of months, I would go in there and, like, I would change the date of the next order to just keep putting it in the future, in the future, in the future. I'm not kidding you. I did this for years, and then finally, like, one day out of the blue, they finally had the option to cancel your subscription, like, on the website.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Yes, finally, I can cancel my subscription," and so I canceled it,
Oh
and I
my
was like, "I don't have
god.
to worry about that for, like, the rest
Oh
of my
my
life."
gosh.
But I completely understand not having to call because I refuse to call
Me
anybody.
too.
And
I won't
Daniel
talk.
hates
I'll
it. He's like,
Yeah.
email.
just call them. And I'm like, no, send them a text.
Yeah, it's just like, I
Yeah,
don't
same.
wanna call
There's
anyone.
very little people I wanna call.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What are some things that turned out better than expected?
Um, hmm. What turned out better than expected? What turned out better than expected for you, Addie's?
I know.
You couldn't think of it, so you asked me back.
Yeah.
Um, honestly, I think, not sticking to the original career choice I wanted to do, which was nursing, because I
Mm,
don't like needles and I don't like blood, so that wouldn't have been a good
yeah,
option anyway. And then I
right.
wanted to be a teacher, and then I
I
realized
remember that.
my dad, to this day, he's like, "You should have been a teacher." But and
Oh.
I do like teaching things to people,
No, it's
but
because he always said that she would have made a good teacher, like, for kids.
I
Never
feel
too late, though.
well, yeah, but I see that, but then at the same time, like, kinda like, I don't know if I want, like, the whole, like, the way I see it is this little generation in front of me is gonna depend on me to learn things, and I feel like that's a big thing. I don't wanna fail them, you know?
But you get summers off.
I guess, but teachers don't get paid anything, Chell.
They do it for the passion, not for the money.
Well, I would want both. Passion with money, please.
Oh.
Like, for me, I feel like not doing those career choices, I think I found the career choice that I have right now, and I kinda was like, "Ooh, I like numbers,"
Mhm.
and I really enjoyed it when I first got to it, even though I wasn't doing payroll then, but I started doing payroll a little bit after,
Yeah.
and I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I feel like the only way that you get to that point is just by experiencing different, like,
Yeah,
jobs.
but it's not something that, like, I would have planned out when I was 18, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
But it's a lot of trial and error, and I think that even if you don't enjoy, like, what you were doing, it's never too late to start over,
Mhm.
because at the same time, would you rather do something that you're not happy with and be this young? Or would you rather start over and maybe do something that you find more joy in?
Yeah,
Because realistically, because we were born rich, we have to work until we're like 65. So that's a long
Exactly.
time to be doing something that
yeah,
you're happy doing.
Exactly.
yeah, we're not nepo babies.
But that's like a big like part of adulthood is just figuring out for yourself, trial and error, and
Mhm.
not everyone's the same. So you have to see what works for you
Yeah.
and what you're happy doing.
And you don't have to rush into it either.
Yeah, there's people,
Right.
going to college, for a new career choice that they're so excited about, and they're, like, 50 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Our moms actually went back to school later in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know my mom said she wouldn't have recommended it because you have kids and your kids don't get as much attention because 'cause you're over there studying and stuff. So you
Mhm.
have to, like, have that boundary with them, and that part sucked, but at the end of the day, you're never told to go back to school.
Yeah.
A little sacrifice here and there, but then you get to enjoy the rest of the life, you know?
Yeah, and it was
Right.
actually, like, so fun when she was in school because it's like, "Oh, wow, mom's in school," and then she's like, "I have a test," and then when at the end
I
of her
have
test.
homework, and you're like, ha ha ha. I
Yeah,
don't have
and we'd be
homework.
like, "Did you pass your test?" And she's like,
Oh,
"Yeah,
yeah.
I did," and we'd, like, all be happy for her.
Like roles were reversed, huh?
Yeah, it
Mhm.
was it was really fun when she was in school, like, you know, and then we went to her graduation, and that was really fun too,
Yeah, that was
so,
fun.
yeah.
adulthood is so different for everybody and
It is.
expectations. I mean, definitely the shows that we grew up watching and the movies that we grew up watching, I feel like help paint an expectation, but it's so different for
Mhm.
everyone.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder too, like, what are the expectations now of like,
The new
yeah,
generations?
like someone who's in junior high right now, like, what is their expectation for adulthood? Because I could not imagine what it would be like, like it
That's
has
true.
to be like more than what we expected, obviously.
Yeah.
Maybe just as long as they have a job, have interest in something.
Yeah.
Because like, they don't force school on you as much anymore.
No.
But I feel like even though I went to school, I do believe that school's not for everybody because everyone learns in so many different ways, and
Mhm.
forcing people to learn and do that route, I feel like is kind
Uh-huh.
of mean because there's trade schools, there's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
so many things, other things you could do. Like you don't have to go to school. Yeah, it helps because it automatically puts you at like a higher wage
Yeah.
for certain jobs, but even when you do graduate, you have to start from the bottom up anyways, because you
Uh-huh.
read about it in the books, but you don't have any experience. So they don't care.
Mhm.
They're still going to start you off pretty low.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know it was kind of drilled into definitely my head and probably a lot of other people's, but I'm curious to know what it's like now. Like, are they offering like trade schools and like other stuff now? Or is it still like very heavy on you gotta go to a four-year university?
I know, my friend Letty, who's a teacher, I remember her saying that there was schools where you could like, I don't remember the type of school it was, but it's like on-hand learning, like where you learn by doing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they were thinking of bringing some here, but I don't know if they ever did.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
some people don't learn or aren't able to retain knowledge like that. Some people really have to do it themselves, and then
Yeah.
no, that's just through experience. That's just how they learn.
Yeah.
But I feel like in today's society, everything's so different now and very like accommodating. I wouldn't be surprised
Mhm.
that's something that they're doing too. Because before it was very like you go to high school, you go to a four-year university or junior college, and then a four-year university. And
Mhm.
now with everything being so different and like different ways of doing things, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not focusing as heavily on that as being the beginning of your adulthood.
At the like, for my, father-in-law, at his job, like, some of the lower positions where they required a degree, they're removing it so that they could get more people on board
Mm.
because they know that school obviously is not for everyone,
Mhm.
but there are, some obviously, like, way bigger positions where they do want you to have a degree, and, he's actually in school to get his degree so that he can, like, move up.
Oh. Do they pay for his school and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of jobs like that, they'll pay for your schooling if it's like a
Yeah.
requirement. I think I've seen like on job applications where companies will be like, we can well they'll train you and stuff.
Yeah.
Training is it's included and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's smart because like a lot of places they expect you to just know things sometimes.
Not
And if
even
you've
that.
never worked the field, you don't know.
And it's like some people, or I guess some places say like, "Oh, they would rather you have like a year or 2 of experience," but it's like you can't even get a job without having some form of experience.
Mhm.
So, like, how are you supposed to get the experience if you can't, like, get hired anywhere?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, "Oh, make sure you have 3 years of experience," and every single late place you look at 3 years of experience, they're like, "Well, how am I gonna get those 3 years if you guys don't give me the opportunity?"
Yeah, and it's like not everyone can also like work through an internship because not every internship is paid and people can't just afford to take like a year off, no
Mhm.
pay. And like you can't live. Like you need some form of money to be able to live.
So, like, to recap, I think, adulthood was not what we expected exactly, but it did come with a lot of experience, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of bills.
Yes, taxes.
Yeah, and then just finding out what you wanna do with your life, you know? And
Yeah,
if you're 30 and that doesn't work out, you know what? You still got another 30 something years, so learn something else and try again. You're never too old to keep learning.
never. You should at least be happy in the field of work that you do.
Yeah, you shouldn't be miserable
Yeah, you don't wanna, drag your feet every
every day.
morning because 'cause you're like, "Ugh,
Mhm.
I have to go to work."
Yeah, you should at least enjoy what you're doing. It doesn't have to be your passion. You can do your passion on the side.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, you never know. What if your passion does turn into something bigger and
Mhm.
you get to quit that job that you're not super happy at, you know, like you're just content at,
Yeah.
and get to live your life.
Live your life.
Okay, Rihanna.
Leave that part in there for sure.
I know. Next thing you know, you're gonna be like umbrella, Ella,
I know, right?
eh. Thank you so much for listening to us today. We had so much fun talking about adulthood and remembering a bunch of moments in our life where money wasn't as big of an issue as it is now. Remember, if you have any stories you'd like to share or just anything you want to share with us, TM us on our email at brenchandbanter@gmail.com or message us on IG, TikTok at brenchandbanterpod. All will be listed below. And let us know what was your biggest adulthood shock. Don't forget to tune in next Wednesday where we have so much more to talk about. Bye.
Bye.